Hey Canucks fans, would you consider trading the 9th overall pick in this year's draft for Sam Reinhart? I'm Canuck Clay. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. This is my Canucks take all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Wednesday, June the 16th. Subscribe for Canucks content and Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. Okay, you guys know that generally I don't like to do trade rumor videos. Generally, not all the time, but sometimes I feel them to be a little bit clickbaity. That's really not my style. However, when multiple people are talking about something like this, then you know, yeah, well, it's still maybe a rumor. You know, it's top of mind for a lot of Canucks fans, and I want to be able to add my 2 cents to this topic. So the rumor is, and Elliotte Friedman's talked about this, Chris Johnston has talked about this, it's all over local radio, is should the Canucks go after Sam Reinhart of the Buffalo Sabres? And should they float the 9th overall pick in next month's entry draft to do so? So let's talk about Sam Reinhart first. He was the 2014 second overall pick in the entire NHL, only behind Aaron Ekblad, who went to the Florida. Wow, that's a big truck. Who went to Aaron Ekblad, the defenseman who went to the Florida Panthers. Sam Reinhart picked second overall in 2014 from North Vancouver. We know the Reinhart family is from here, and he's had a pretty good career so far. So he had his entry-level contract deal of 3 years, then he had a 2-year deal, and now he's coming off a 1-year deal. So that's key. That's only 6 years. So that means he's still an RFA at the end of this season, at the expiration of his 1-year deal that paid him $5.25 million. This year he had 25 goals in only 54 games, which is pretty impressive actually. So he had 40 points in those 54 games. So scoring basically at a 0.8 per game pace roughly, and that's kind of where he's been at for his career. In the past 4 seasons, he's had 25, 22, 22, and 25 goals. So he's a 20 to 25 goal scorer, legit, and he plays generally injury free. Generally, he hasn't had full seasons, but pretty close to them. So overall, you're getting a pretty reliable top 6 producer. He can play in the middle. He played in the middle at the end of last season. He plays the number 1 center in Buffalo when Eichel was hurt, and then Casey Middlestad was sometimes a number 2 center, but he can play on the wing as well. So he's versatile that way. If the Canucks were to get him, I would see him as a perfect second line fit with Bo and Höglander, or Bo and Pearson, or maybe or Bo and Podkolzin, whoever. But I could see Reinhart playing on the second line with Horvat. Would you play him as a third line center? Not sure if that's the best use of his talent. But regardless, a 25 goal scorer. He was number 10 in goal scoring in the entire league last season, and that's on a really bad Buffalo team, obviously. Now, there's obviously a risk to this as well. This is even before we talk about what we're giving up. The risk is that he's 1 year away from unrestricted free agency. So if you're even going to entertain trading for him, I think somehow you got to make sure that there's an extension that you can agree on, because you're not trading away anything, especially a 9th overall pick, for a guy for only 1 year. He's 25 years old, so he's not like 28 or 29. He's in the prime of his career right now. But if we're talking about you want your players to be in their prime and young enough when you're able to contend, if you're saying the Canucks could contend after next season, then he'll only be 26, 27. So it's not like he'll be too old, kind of like a JT Miller type age, as opposed to like a Brock Besser or Elias Pettersson type age. So I'm fine with this age. It's the contract that's going to be tricky. He's going to want to raise on his $5.25 million in a flat cap world. And remember, you got to agree to an extension for at least 3 or 4 years to make this worth it. So that's kind of the scoop on Sam Reinhart. 25 years old, looking for a raise over his $5.25 million contract. He's going to be a UFA after next season. Durable, top 6 forward, skilled, plays really hard, works really hard. 10th highest goal total in the league last season. So that's all the reasons why you might want to consider it. Now you got to think about what's going the other way. Well, obviously, it'd be great if we can attach some money going the other way, and then we know after Pettersson and Hughes, I've talked about this, are re-signed, you're looking at only a few $1 million to sign 3 or 4 more guys. Of course, there's other avenues like buyouts and trades and whatever it may be. So, but that's something to keep in mind. So it's not like we have $5 or $5.5 or $6 million just sitting around. We will next season, at the end of next season, but we certainly won't have it for this season. So that's obviously a challenge, is how do you make it even work? And then there's the question of the 9th overall pick. Now, admittedly, when people first started floating this rumor by me a little while ago, I said, no, I think you got to keep the 9th overall pick. We saw what happened to the Canucks in the draft last year. They only picked not to the 3rd round. It was kind of boring. The prospect cupboard is getting a little bare with Rathbone and Podkolzin expected to start with the team. So really, I've been saying you got to keep this 9th overall pick, and you got to start to build up this prospect pool. And then I've been saying, and you never know who you're going to get at 9. It's such a crapshoot year, but apparently there's 9 or 10 guys that are of high quality, so you're going to get a good player. But for that very reason, I'm actually coming around to considering doing this trade. Of course, the money and the term and all that's got to work, because if you don't know what you're getting in the draft at 9, pick number 9, but you do know that you're getting a top 6 forward who can score 20 to 25 goals a season, and maybe he'll do even better on a better team. If you don't think your 9th overall pick is going to turn out to be a top 6 forward that can score 25 goals a season, then maybe it's worth doing this pick. And I guess that's the dilemma, right? Is you know what you're getting in Sam Reinhart for the most part. He's shown it very consistently over the past 4 or 5 seasons. And you don't know what you're going to get in the 9th overall pick. It could be a steal. It could be a steal for sure. Remember Horvat, we picked him at 9 kind of thing. So you might want to keep him if you're thinking you have a bona fide top 6 forward that you have since he's 18 or 19 as opposed to 25 or 26 years old. But it could very well be a bust. Or someone that hasn't played up to their potential, like Jake Virtanen. So you never know what you're going to get. That's the beauty of the draft, right? You just simply never know who you're going to get, what you're going to get, and especially in this weird season. So you could go either way. You could build like with many things in life, you can build a case either way. You could say, no, I want the guarantee of Sam Reinhart and his top 6 production, and that's worth the risk to me of the 9th overall pick in a crapshoot year. Or you're going to say, no way. There's no way that I don't want this to come back and look bad, and I think we got to build our prospects, and this pick that we get is going to be our best prospect for the next little while. So that's why you hold on to the 9th overall pick, plus the whole money situation. So you can go either way. I will say, admittedly, at first, I was like, no way, keep the 9th overall pick. But as I learn more about Sam Reinhart, as I watch more of his highlights and I hear more rumors, I will say I'm not sold on it, but I certainly am more open to it. Canucks fans, leave a comment below. I would love to know, would you consider trading the 9th overall pick for Sam Reinhart, presuming a contract extension of some sort with him? Leave a comment below. I'd love to read, react, and reply as always. Shout out to my Hall of Fame members, Jens95, Sam Alexander, Justin Credible, Nux fan number 29, Lucas Gates, Chris Seifert, Adam Broomfield, Jamie Sports Talk and more, Shea Family Channel, and Shannon Hollingworth. Thanks for your support as always, and thanks to the support of all members of all levels. You're listed in my video descriptions. If you want to become a member of the CCC Crew, press the join button underneath this or any of my videos on the memberships tab on my YouTube channel. Comment below, subscribe if you'd like to, like this video if you'd like to, become a member of this channel if you'd like to. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, the biggest thing, Jacob passed his driving test yesterday. Finally, he now has his N, which means I don't have to drive him to school or to work or to church or to bowling. He can drive himself wherever. He can help drive his younger sister around. And as I said in my post yesterday, N stands for not going back to the driver's license place anymore, the ICBC place anymore. Or N could also stand for needs a haircut. If you saw the picture, you know what I'm talking about. So if you made it this far, I don't want to keep doing this every video, but I think it's worth congratulating Jacob. Why don't you put a congrats, Jake, in the comments as well, and I'll make sure that he sees it. All right, have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.